the signs have appeared again. The evil has returned. And only one chosen warrior has the power to defeat this threat.
I'm not ready for this.
You are the only one who can do it.
With this Dragon Ball, I take my vengeance upon the Earth.
We have to find the Dragon Balls before the eclipse.
Let's go.
We'll go, but we go together. Cool.
This spring, the battle for our world
Who are you?
will begin. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Jon here at Zulu's Cafe, here with a deck tech. You probably guessed what deck we're talking about already, and that is talking about, what is it, the Dragon Ball Z, when did it come out?
I don't know.
Hello, with Russel, better known
Hi.
as the Rogue Artificer. Thank you for coming aboard here.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So we've been talking about doing, showcasing a deck tech. I've been doing a lot of deck techs again lately on the channel, but you have a very interesting deck that I really want to showcase, so thanks for this little meetup.
Oh, of course. I love talking about this deck because it's flavor first. Winning is tangential at best, and it's all around this guy right here.
Ooh.
He's very shiny. And yes, for those of you who have watched Dragon Ball before, that is a Super Saiyan Goku. Or in the game of Magic, Surrak Dragonclaw.
Nice. And that is not what Surrak Dragonclaw usually looks like. Who did that fantastic altar for you?
Oh, that'd be Rafael Garcia. Like, it's right.
Yeah.
I'm bad with last names, Rafael. I'm so sorry. So don't.
Rafael Garcia is a very near and dear to my heart. He is not only a good internet friend, as you stated, but also a patron on the channel, so I always appreciate that. But that is, I've been looking at that art online, on Twitter and everything, digitally, but it's breathtaking.
Right? In person, it's just, the foil peel on it is just stunning.
Yeah.
Sorry, the internet, you don't get to feel this as up close and personal as we do.
Yeah.
But I promise you, it is awesome.
My naked eyeballs are touching it right, but I don't know where I'm going with that.
That's
yeah,
fine.
Let's do a little zoom in on that real quick.
Here we go. Let's put it over here. So yeah.
So what about this deck, whether it be, what spoke to you as far as the theme goes, Dragon Ball? I know at the top of this episode, we really are showcasing the very worst of Dragon Ball Z, and that's the film, the live-action film that came out. But that's kind of my brand. But why did you pick, what about Dragon Ball is, do you hold to esteem?
Well, Surrak likes punching things, and so does Goku. And that is absolutely the basis of this entire deck, is we want to fight. It's all about fighting. This is me finding out that how much fight can I put in one commander deck and still make it work.
So Russell, we met Surrak, and that's your analog for Goku, correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So what, every single, I mean, you were kind of talking to me about this off camera a little bit, and most of these cards, if not all of these cards, have a story and a place for this in the deck as well.
Oh, absolutely. Every single creature has an analog to the Dragon Ball universe. Right now we see the Jessian Thief, who is our Bulma. She is the intrepid explorer genius who sparks the quest for the Dragon Balls when she meets Goku. With her prowess and her ability to draw cards, it's really awesome. And she puts in a lot of work because this is a very spell-heavy deck. Unlike a lot of Surrak decks, because Surrak's like, oh, creatures are great. Creatures. No. We're fighting. Fight cards or spell cards. We're fighting. This is what we're doing. So she gets pretty good.
And already, Jesse and Thief is a, dare I say, unconventional EDH deck or card.
Oh, absolutely.
That's it. So that's already, we're on card 1. You can already kind of see where we're going with this as far as an unconventional, on-flavor themed kind of deck.
And speaking of, then we have Goku's best friend, Krillin. And I don't know how much you know about the Namek saga when they're fighting Frieza, and then Frieza murders Krillin, and then Goku loses his proverbial stuff, and keeping the kid friendly here, and then goes Super Saiyan. Hamura, the human ascendant, does all of that. He is a monk, much like Krillin. He's pretty strong, but tough for a 4/4 human. He always gets into the fray, and then when he dies, he makes everybody bigger. He make +2/+2 flying and fire breathing. I mean, seriously.
That's crazy stuff. This already makes me think. I mean, we've done a podcast about M. Night Shyamalan, and dare I say, I kind of enjoyed The Last Airbender, the live-action film. Definitely enjoyed it more than the Dragon Ball Z live-action film. But I almost get a little Last Airbender vibe from this as well. So it's scratching my itch as well as yours.
Nice. And then we can't have Goku and Krillin without having our good old Master Roshi.
Nice.
He is a hermit, and he lives out in the woods, except for Roshi lives on an island, and he transforms into a big muscular form, which is the werewolf, because I'm not going to flip it over. Scryfall, it's a great website. Please go visit it if you want to see what the reverse side of this looks like.
Sure.
But
of course you remember it from, Shadow's Standard when you were playing all your budget werewolf decks. So.
Oh, and so this is Chi-Chi, Goku's wife. She's very, in the show, domineering. She's a very strong personality. Saiyans like their women strong. And nothing says strong like stealing people's characters or personalities or... What do they call the magic again? Creatures. They're called creatures. So many games.
And Yasova Dragonclaw is like an actual magic card, too. So, I mean, this has some power to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. There are definitely ways to boost power in the deck because it's not a fight deck without it. And just so even though a Force 2 is going to even hit some utility stuff, being able to steal an Oracle of Moldiah or something else that's actually good. Air quotes are important there.
Sure.
Can get you a bit further in the game just for that added utility, which is great. And that's the core central Earthbound characters we're going to deal with. And then, so we're going to go strong into the Prince of All Saiyans himself, Prince Vegeta. Because I do like... Dragon Ball is all about transformation. There are so many transformations. You transform into Great Ape, you transform into Super Saiyan, you transform into whatever, numerous things. So, Ulrich, being the alpha werewolf that he is, the leader, if you will, the prince of all werewolves, he has a great werewolf form. It is beefy, but he also gives a bonus, which ultimately, let's be honest here, this is pretty much a Voltron deck. Sure. I mean, granted, it can deal out damage in numerous ways, but getting Surrak to 11 double strike or even 21 just raw power is going to pretty much how it wins most of the games.
And you have an impromptu werewolf sub-theme in here, even if you meant to or not.
Oh, again, transformation is super important. And then what is Vegeta without his right-hand man, Nappa?
Now, you told me a pretty cool story about this off-camera.
Okay.
To the uninitiated, this just looks like a card.
It is a bad card.
Definitely not a target, so to speak.
Right. So, the things you can do with a 5/5 trample and a bunch of ways to deal extra damage is pretty beastly. So, with Rishkar's expertise, you draw 5 cards. And then with Gratuitous Violence on the field, you'll deal 10 damage. Well, if you Berserk Iwamori here, he's Nappa. If you Berserk Nappa here, like Nappa does, then he'll deal 20 damage with the Berserk, with the Gratuitous Violence. And then on top of that, Hunter's Insight. You can draw 25 cards in a turn and deal 20 damage to an unsuspecting player for fun, just for fun, because they let you play a 5/5 trampler, and whatever chump block they throw in front of you, just fight out of the way, because trample's hilarious like that.
Dare I say it has that Napa know-how? Oh no!
Oh no! All right, and then since we've moved on to some of our antagonists, we'll just jump through a few of these right here.
Sure.
Except for I need to talk about this one, which is Disciple of the Ring, or our lovely Android 18, who is a solid just workhorse because she, though doesn't have the infinite energy like the actual android for the show, does so much. And again, this is a very heavy instant sorcery deck, so there's constantly fuel for her abilities in the graveyard. And then we have Combustible Gear Hulk, which is our Android 16,
nice.
Big, burly, and explodes.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was androids in this show.
Right? There's so much. There's a little bit of everything. And then we have our evil genie, Majin Buu.
Okay.
Who goes hand in hand with, again, all those instant sorceries I was talking about. Because you know what's better than Savage Punching once? Savage Punching as many times as you can afford to pay for it. You just punch everything on the field. Just punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it.
Punch in the face.
Exactly. And then we have some, the other cast. We have Daybreak Ranger as Yamcha. He's got the Wolf Fang Fist, turns into a werewolf.
Very nice.
We have the Golden Guardian as Android 8.
Okay.
From the original Dragon Ball series.
How many androids are there?
At 21-ish.
Oh, Jesus.
A lot of androids.
All the androids.
Yep. We have Rishkar Pima Renegade as our Piccolo.
Yay! I knew a Piccolo was coming.
Absolutely, because he not only has pointy ears, being an elf, he teaches Gohan and people how to fight by giving them +1/+1 counters. We have Fortune Teller Baba, who gives us mana, and Yajirobe, who is not super tough, but he gives us cards and helps us out in that arena.
So that is our cast of characters.
That is our cast of characters. It is a Surrak deck with only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures.
Nice. So I'm guessing even the spells or whatever else you have in store for us also are dripping with flavor, I assume.
They wouldn't be here if they weren't, because I have a very strong story to tell, and any good EDH deck, commander deck, isn't a deck without ramp and draw. However, we can always make these things work out, because you know what? A search for the Dragon Balls is a collective voyage, of exploration. You're constantly searching for tomorrow and going on a bunch of far wanderings. And going through finding the Dragon Balls, sometimes you just have to traverse the Outlands.
I see what you did there.
Right? And these are things that they do in the course of the show. But one thing that also is important, that Goku, as an adult, is a farmer. And tills the land, provides for his family, but just can't help but destroying things every so often, because he has to get his training in, and his training is intense. It is planet-busting level training. And again, what is Dragon Ball but fun and violent and explosive?
I can't help but feel like you're telling me a story with these cards.
That is exactly what I'm doing.
That is awesome. It's just crazy that you're literally, to someone that's as uninitiated as myself with this IP, I almost feel like I want to learn more, and I do now know more about it. So that's incredible stuff that you're doing with the stack of Magic cards. But sir, please keep going.
All right, so that's our ramp. We saw some on the creatures, and then we saw that. And then we're gonna go into basic draw stuff, the Hunter's Insight or the Fighter's Intuition, Rishkar or Piccolo's Expertise. You know what? The momentous fall when a beloved character, Krillin, oh, sorry buddy, Krillin, when you die, or when Goku sacrifices himself to, take Cell off to King Kai's planet.
I wish I knew anything as much as you know about this show.
Right? It's a little much. And a Recurring Insight, where, basically that honed fighting instinct, and you learn people's techniques. And then, of course, this one's my favorite, Days Undoing, as the Room of Spirit and Time, or the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, where you go in for a day and you do a whole year's worth of training. Because that is awesome. And when you cast it, for instance, speed, you get a free Time Twister. and then have a full hand of cards to punch people with, because that's what you're doing, punching.
This is a better live action rendition of Dragon Ball than the actual film.
Oh, right. And again, we hit a lot of key moments in Dragon Ball, like Goku turning Super Saiyan, the planting of the Cybermen, or even the wish that evacuates Planet Namek from everybody except for Goku and Frieza so they can fight. And of course, there's always elements in the show like the Trek to Korran's Tower. This is another one of those cards that's just solid and really good because when you flip it over, you have that thing. I don't remember what it's called, but it's Korran's Tower, and you get the magic water, and it doubles your attack and the defense, and then it gives you flying. It makes it easier to punch people right in the face.
Yeah, because a flying death punch is a lot better than a running death punch.
Exactly. Monastery Siege. There have been monks in Dragon Ball, and this card not only gets you more cards, but protects Surrak from getting hit. Also, even though Goku isn't a true aesthetic, there's a lot of aesthetic sensibilities in the cast with Roshi and Krillin and everybody.
You never have to talk me into adding asceticism into your Magic deck, so...
But I have to justify keeping it. if it doesn't fit the theme, it's got to go.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, good thing that's on theme, because that card is ridiculous.
Right. And on top of everything, what is Dragon Ball without some good old-fashioned gratuitous violence?
Blood and guts.
It's not Dragon Ball. I'll tell you that's what it is. It's not Dragon Ball at all. And remember what I was saying on things being on theme and justifying their stay in the deck. The deck has 3 artifacts.
Okay.
Only 3.
Wow.
Life Crasher's Bestiary. It can do double work as either the Dragon Radar, which finds the Dragon Balls, or the Scouter, depending on how you want to look at it. So it fits 2 sort of roles there, which is really nice. The Staff of Nin, which Master Roshi carries around a big honking staff. And there we go. Plus it draws me cards and lets me smack people in the head when they're not paying attention.
That was one of my pet cards, too. I always found room for a good old Staff and Nin.
Right? It's really good and really useful. And then my last one is a Chromatic Lantern, because they have lamps. I don't care. I don't care if I'm reaching for this one. I have lamps, and I have fire breathing.
Yeah.
I need to make red mana.
And you're running red, a rug deck, so yes.
Yeah, and so, it happens. There's no Soul Ring.
Oh, wow.
Because this deck, 1, doesn't need Soul Ring,
Sure.
and 2, it's not on theme. Not every deck needs Soul Ring. Not every deck needs Soul Ring. That's for all of you out there in Commander Land. Get it through your skull.
Don't listen to him. I don't endorse this sentiment. No.
No, do you? Don't let anybody tell you what to play, what not to play. It's fine, as long as you're having fun and your deck works for you. All right, now I know slow burn, but this is what you're all waiting for, right? Of course it is. It's the fight cards. We've got a Savage Punch, a Savage Smash, some good old Setzian Tactics. Teamer Charm. It punches. It also punches spells. There's a whole category for punching spells, and we'll get to those later.
Even makes julienne fries.
Right? Pit Fight. Instant speed fighting, because that's some of the best one right here.
Absolutely.
Ancient Animus, because sometimes you just got to hold a grudge. Sometimes you got to kick somebody right in the face. Punching's not good enough, you got to kick him in the head. And then Titanic Brawl. Though not very people in Dragon Ball get to these sizes, the fights themselves destroy just as much.
Absolutely.
And a good old-fashioned brawl when you need to have everybody fighting. Not just your guys, everybody's fighting.
I totally forgot about that card. I
Right?
love that card.
Isn't it great? It is pretty much awesome. And then sometimes...
Look at little Karn in the background.
He's just so sad. Because he knows that if he punches anybody, their head's going to explode.
I miss Tangarth. When Karn's your small guy in the picture.
Right?
I miss Tangarth.
Right. And then one last fight card, because sometimes you just need to punch somebody directly in the face.
Absolutely.
Because it says punch in the title. And that's why it's in here. I was a little sad that it can't hit creatures, but you know what? It's a punch, and it's an epic punch.
It gets into the party. It says Punch.
And remember I said sometimes you just need to punch a spell?
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to turn into a swan so you can punch it. Sometimes you just punch this big smoky spell thing. And sometimes you just flex so hard that the spell just goes away.
We said does not endorse punching swans in the face.
I mean, if they deserve it, though, if they come at you,
Well, yeah, then break its damn neck.
all right, come on. Self-defense is totally a thing, and swans are aggressive.
Yeah, that is.
And then, there's also fighting, but there are also techniques that Goku and his friends have learned, like Solar Flare, which removes blockers. Twin Flame, which is like the after image technique, which is used much more in the Dragon Ball series than subsequent ones. Tien's good old multi-form technique,
That's a
also
card.
a commander staple. Not as broken as it is in regular Commander and a lot of Legends, but still pretty solid. And sometimes you need to gather that energy to make a true Spirit Bomb.
Absolutely.
And then the classic Goku technique, his signature one that he teaches nobody else aside from the Kaioken, is his instant transmission.
Oh my god!
3 different ways to get around pesky blockers and just go straight to the dome, right behind and then punching. So I mentioned the Kaioken, and how could I not introduce cards that easily up your power and then, possibly ruin your body?
Was that a berserk I saw?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
okay.
Because sometimes you just go berserk to beat people in the face. Even in Dragon Ball.
Thank God for conspiracy.
Right? And then also the good old classic Saiyan Battle Rage. Teamer Battle Rage. It gets all mixed up. It's fine.
Same.
And if anything else that we've learned, that Goku and his friends are wildly defiant and often use their will to just go past their limits. And then a nice tender moment brought to you by Ravnica Allegiance. Little Gohan running away from dinosaurs. Or running dinosaurs into town or whatever. When he was being trained by Piccolo before he cut off their tails for a tail steak.
This is the rhythm of the wild.
Yup.
Yo. Okay.
Alright.
We didn't come here to hear me sing. We came here to see your lands, Russell.
Oh, we've got lands. Because apparently, magic doesn't work if you don't have mana to cast things, apparently.
It is essential.
Yeah. So, we'll go with some bling here. The Judge Foil Command Tower for the Muscle Tower.
Excuse me.
In the Foreign Waste.
Sure.
Or not Judge Foil, Commander Arsenal one. I don't know what printings are.
Sure.
We have the Reliquary Tower because there are a lot of towers in Dragon Ball. Frontier Bivouac because it's good and, Goku has to live somewhere.
You do need to cast the spell sometimes, too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mentioned that things just get ruined in Dragon Ball. You're fighting on land, you're fighting, and then things just blow up.
Yeah.
That's a nice, glacial chasm you had there until I filled it in with a fireball.
I was about to say this is borderline a budget deck, and then you pulled a Wasteland.
I mean, it's like $200. It's not like super expensive.
Yeah.
But it's not like budget. I mean, there are some. You can easily drop some of the money cards for cheaper replacements. That's not a problem.
Sure.
And so yeah, you could definitely take this and build it more budget and keep the theme. I just happen to have a Wasteland, and it fits.
As you do.
Yeah. And then Blighted Woodland is because you know what? Here's a secret. If you can ever sneak draw and ramp into your lands and you don't do it, you are doing yourself a disservice as a commander player. Just think about that.
Especially in green.
Right? Yeah. This card should beat every deck that runs green and has basic lands. Also, every deck should run more basic lands, Josh Lee Kwai. Alright, and the Opal Palace can stand in for Princess Snake's Palace, which also gives Goku, who dies a lot. I mean, seriously, apparently people like to use their removal on Surrak because he punches them in the face. I don't know why.
That's so rude.
Right? I'm just trying to advance my win condition.
Yeah.
By hitting you a lot.
How dare you?
Right, but hey, that's okay. He comes back bigger every time. And Arcane Lighthouse, because sometimes you need to be able to just get through Hexproof, you need to get through Shroud, because you gotta fight something.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can still punch Lazav in the face. I don't care what face he has, you can still punch it right in the face with this guy right here.
And not just a little multifarious one. We're talking the real Lazav.
Yeah, all sorts of Lazav punching. Kessig Wolfrun, because I remember the whole thing about this is sort of kind of a Voltron deck. Yeah, this is pretty much, or, Snake Way if you want to. I mean, lands where the theme gets a little looser, but yeah, it's, Yeah, that does a lot of damage.
Sometimes it's just great. Like, we could take the lipstick as a pig. It's just great to turn your creature into a fireball.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
again, Goku flashes into places. That's awkward. And also Master Roshi has a house in the middle of nowhere on an island. There aren't really a lot of good, like, hermit islands on Innistrad or in, like, the world of Magic, so we go with this guy right here. Plus, if you look closely, it looks a little Kame house.
Aw, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right. We have the one cycle land because it's the only one in the colors. Some pain lands, some temples because they scry. And card selection is pretty awesome. Some, each of the check lands. You know what? No shops or fetches because you know what? Don't need them.
Oh.
They're crutches. You don't need them.
I feel like you're making some statements here.
I'm making a lot of statements. Punch everything and challenge your assumptions about stuff once in a while.
No Soul Ring, no Shocklands.
Yeah, and then we just got some basics, because basics are good.
I like how you kept it in the cons, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm missing like a forest or two, but I just haven't replaced it yet.
Excellent.
But yeah, the cons, specifically the teamer con ones, because, Surrak's still a teamer, even though he's a Goku.
This deck just looks like a ton of fun, Russell. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. Where can everyone find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at Rogue Artificer, and that's...
So as I said before, this is a lot better live-action rendition of Dragon Ball Z than the unfortunate film that they created that we saw, that I made you sit through at the top of this episode. But if you like what you see here, you can go ahead and subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at OrzubDone. You can also purchase these cards online at cardsphere.com. That's right, cardsphere.com is simply the best place to buy, sell, and trade your Paper Magic the Gathering cards online. You can also go to inkedgaming.com, enter promo code HiveMindMTG to get 10% off your purchase. You can also support this channel directly and become a patron. Go to patreon.com and check out all the cool rewards that you could get being a patron on this very channel. Until next time, Planeswalkers, I'll see you all in the multiverse.